I want my $1,400 that you're gonna give me for a video.
I chose to do my speech on World War II because my father was a paratrooper in this war. He was drafted fresh out of college, and it had an impact on his life. Although I've done my interview, it's an interview from the past, from the stories he used to tell. My father passed away in 2001, so I didn't have anyone else to do an interview on that would be, to me, as important as this one. So what information I'm giving you is from the stories he told me all the years I got to know him. So in the beginning, he used to sit on his porch, and it was separation. It was, the blacks on one side, the whites on the other side, and he was cool with everybody. He lived in Slidell, Louisiana, where he said he was one of the poor families, so they lived on the black part of town. He enjoyed talking to everybody. He would run mail for the mailman, and he would drive this one man home who would always get drunk, and he almost fell out the car one day because my dad, 8 years old, driving him home from the bar, and you could barely see over the steering wheel. He would tell me how the rationing, and you didn't have a lot to eat. You got a little bit, and you ate what was on your plate because you didn't know if the next day you were going to get to eat or not. And the food was, basic food. You might have green beans, and you might have homemade bread, but you wouldn't get the 4 and 5 course meals we get today. The restaurants weren't restaurants there. You had to be pretty wealthy to get to go out to eat. You had the same pair of shoes that you wore forever till your feet would literally grow out of them. It's interesting to hear the stories he would tell, and he was lucky he got to go to college and graduate college, and then once he graduated college, he was drafted into the war. His mother was a stay-at-home mom, a mother of 10, and when his dad went into war, he went into war. His 4 other brothers went into war. They were all drafted. She was at home with 5 girls, so she had to go to work, and some of the older girls had to go to work, which for her was different because she, was used to staying at home and taking care of kids, and all of a sudden now she has to go into the workforce. So that impacted him a great deal. When he was training as a paratrooper, he told me that they would hook you up to this thing, and if you were scared to jump, that they would literally put their boot on your butt and push you out of the plane. So you didn't have a choice to say, no, I don't want to go. When after he got drafted, he was sent to Germany, and in Germany, that's where his mother and father were from. So he was fighting for the U.S., but against his family's homeland. That was, I would say, a little hard for him, maybe. His great-grandmother was still there in Germany. When he came back, he said that it was a big difference. There were more people on the road. There was more hustle and bustle in the town. There was a different car. The roads were different. The way people did things was a little different. There was more food. There was more stores. There was more things to do. There was more people in the town. Things had just gotten busier since he had been away. When he joined the workforce, when he came out, remembering he was fresh out of college when he got drafted, so this would have been his first job. He said that, there was a woman in the office, which was strange to him because he had always, came from women being in the household. So while he was gone, women were joining the workforce. So many stories, I can't fit them into just this, and I wish you could hear him tell some of the stories. My favorite one was the 8-year-old driving the car, and if you can imagine this Model A Ford with the suicide doors, and an 8-year-old driving, sitting on books, and this drunk, heavy-set man on the other side, and he's holding this belt to kind of hold him in the car, and he's turning curves and holding the belt, and the man is kind of hanging out the door. I don't know, you could just picture it. It would be funny to see, I believe. But thank you for listening.